ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
All right, here we go. It's Tuesday, June 28th. My name is Paul Swann. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We make the show available to you. You can call at 877-420-TALK. That's 877-420-8255. Or you can text 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. Coming up today on the program, we'll talk Marshall baseball. The big man himself is coming on the program, Jeff Waggoner. We'll talk to him about all the happenings with Marshall baseball. So I'm sure he's got a lot to say about that. Maybe I can get some details out of him, pry a little bit of information out of him. We'll try my best. I'm going to try really hard. Feels good, right? Maybe if you feel like, okay, this time it's a go. This time it's we're building it. Here it is. We're putting it together. We're going to have the plan soon. We're going to start construction soon. We're a go for this. We're making it happen. So that's what we've got coming up here, hopefully in the near future. And Coach can actually maybe get a sigh of relief a little bit, maybe feel a little bit better about things because, well, how hard and difficult is it to coach a baseball team, put together a team on a yearly basis and compete in a extremely competitive league and not really have the tools to do so. So now you're going into the Sun Belt where it's going to be as good, if not better, and you're going to have something to recruit to. You're really going to have something to recruit to. I mean, once the construction begins, you can say, look, here it is. So maybe you don't go after the immediate. I mean, you get the transfer portal as well. You don't go maybe after the immediate player here. Maybe you go after, okay, this is where you can start. We'll figure all that out. We'll talk to Jeff here in the next few minutes, get his thoughts and plans on that, see what he's willing to share. And, of course, we're going to hear from you as well. So I'll get your phone calls and text in. Looking forward to hearing from you today. It's always fun to talk to you. I got to talk to someone. I was coming back from the garage earlier today, and we'll not talk about the garage bill. The garage bill, and we're talking about the future repairs. We're not going to talk about that today. Let's just say, I'm telling you what, I wasn't happy that, look, I got to spend money. I was getting in the vehicle, and I got to spend money, and then I met a listener. He was like, you're Paul, right? You're on the radio. I'm like, yeah. And the guy was excited to meet me, and I was like, that's nice. Right now, I feel really grumpy, and this guy made a point to come out of the garage just to say hi to me. So that made me feel really good. So I appreciate all of you. So if you get a chance to see me, you say hi to me. Just say hi to me. If you know it's me, say hi to me. I will say hi back. I will always say hi back to you. Or if you think you saw me, you can text me, let me know during the show that you might have ran into me. And give me a report. Let me know that I wasn't such a jerk. It's like, hey, I ran into you the other day at the drive-thru. You were a jerk. Pulled in front of me. Like, look, man, I need to get my breakfast. I'm sorry about that. How can I make that up to you? No, seriously. All kidding aside, let me know if you run into me. Say hi or at least tell me about it. Tell me about it. Just let me know. Give me an idea. So it was nice today to, after looking at the future expense report from the garage, it's like, okay, yeah, well, at least I can leave the garage smiling a little bit because somebody, actually came out and made a point to tell me that they really enjoyed the show. So that kind of made me feel good. So just telling you, when you guys shoot messages my way, Twitter, Facebook, text line, you call the show, I'm always happy to hear from you. I'm always excited to hear that you're out there. So don't hesitate anytime. Let me know you're out there. So you can do that again at the text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And if you want to donate to my vehicle fund as well, I mean, go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you. It's probably not going to happen. But if you really want to donate to my vehicle fund, that's fine. I mean, that's perfectly acceptable there. On Twitter, I've got that tip jar there. No one's ever used that. The tip jar, I activated that feature. Just like, why not? Somebody might randomly tip me. I mean, I work here at a radio station, commercial radio station, and so I have a job. I have a full-time job. But, okay, here's this tip jar. Maybe somebody will randomly go, you know what, Paul does such a great job. I'm gonna give him some cash. Never been used whatsoever. So it's there if you want to, but I'm not soliciting money. It's just kind of funny though that's there. That is there. No one ever uses it. But it's there. It's there if you want to tip me. Just run. Yeah, if you run into me, again, if you run into me, you could should I charge for photo? No, I wouldn't do that. I'm not charging for photos. I'm not going to be one of those celebrities that you'll see on. First of all, let me restructure the use of that word. I'm your friend on the radio. I'm not going to be one of those people that get on Cameo and hey, for $150 you get X amount of time with me. I mean, if someone wants to pay for that, that's great. But I see a list of those people, and I'm sitting there going, hey, I kind of like you. I'm not spending $150. I don't really need a photo of you. Or I don't need Ric Flair saying hello to me or happy birthday to me. I don't need that. I don't need all of that. I'm not doing that. We'll see how that goes here. Yeah, as I get closer to retirement, we'll see how the career. One way, of course, is celebrities are going on Patreon now. Not so much. They're using Cameo and stuff, but a lot of people are going on Patreon and doing creative work, and that's cool because you can actually, put together a product or something, and people will pay. And I thought about what would a subscription model look like, and what can we do to justify the subscription model. And I'm kind of curious what your best subscription model ideas are, because really, is there a market for that right now? It's pretty tough out there. We're trying to get a baseball park built, and it was a couple of days before we got to the $50,000 mark. It took a couple of days to get to that. So times are tough right now. Times they be a tough. And I'm kind of curious what that number looks like right now. It went over 50,000, so there was a total of 100,000. And I'm kind of curious what the funds are going to be looking like here for this. How many major donors are going to be able to contribute, step up? What kind of sponsorship opportunities are we going to see that's going to help pay for the stadium? Are we going to have naming rights? I know a lot of people want the stadium named after Coach Cook, and that could probably be a well-received idea. What if you can get a couple million for a naming right? I mean, do you name it Coach Cook Field, that name stadium? Could you go that route? I mean, think about that. I still like the idea of putting a statue of Coach Cook out there. Just have a statue. Not to add to the cost of this thing, but, there needs to be a statue. Coach Cook. Something you walk past and you look up and you maybe you'll wander over and it's something that's going to be there a long time. Like, hey, who's Coach Cook? Because one day there's going to be someone to ask that question. Who's Coach Cook? Well, let me tell you. And here's the reason why he has a statue. So that'd be interesting. All right, we got to get the coach, Coach Waggoner. Wags needs a statue too, but I'm not going to tell him that. We'll talk to him when we continue, and we'll take your phone calls and text. The text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Tuesday, June 28th edition, The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I want to welcome my next guest to the program. He right now has to be one of the happiest people of all Marshall coaches, and that is Marshall baseball coach Jeff Waggoner. From a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now?
11.
11. That's a good number. Does it feel real this time? I mean, you've seen so many false starts. Does it feel actually real this time?
It does, Paul, because the Board of Governors and your president, President Brad Smith are behind it. And that's the first time I could say that going through this process that, the board and president's involved. So, yes, it does.
So you got a different location. First of all, how much input did you have when everyone was trying to figure this thing out, make it happen? You pretty happy with the location, or you just want a ballpark? You don't care where they put it right now.
Yeah, yes and yes. I love the location. I think that it's a great spot because you're going to be around all the other facilities. Right beside softball and obviously the football stadium, the indoor facility, you have the training room there and our medical center right there. I think it's a great location. Plus, I feel like it's an area where you can expand not only just for martial athletics, but also for the community. So, right off 3rd Avenue, I think it's closer to the campus, and I think it's perfect.
So, what do you envision that area looking like? I know there's still plans to be made and designs to be revealed, but what do you envision here? Because it's not just a stadium out in an island to itself. As you mentioned, there could be so much more that happens with that stadium once it's finished being a cornerstone to that area. I mean, we could be talking about a complex that serves baseball, softball, and a host of other sports and a host of other things for Marshall.
Yeah, there's no question. Obviously, like a lot of the stadiums in this conference, and if you look at this conference, the stadiums are amazing. But they build them over time, really just getting this going. And the biggest thing that I've always pushed for is development with players. And I think that's the number one thing when you're starting out building a stadium is make sure you're building it around development, because that's why kids come to your program. They can see guys getting developed, the amount of draft picks you have, guys are getting better. They want to come for that reason. So you build everything around development. Then you start building the stadium around that. And I think it's endless what you could do over there. Obviously connecting that with softball and having our own facility there that we both could use. You could open that up for parking, more parking. You could add additional stuff for other sports, football. I think it's endless. I think it could, over time, we could make that into an unbelievable facility and keep growing.
So $20 million, that's sort of the number that came out, $20 million to build this thing. What do you get for $20 million, you think?
Well, I think that in our conversations, it was trying to keep everything close to what we originally started with. And again, that goes back to the players getting a really amazing locker room and training room and cages underneath, video rooms to help on the development side of it. And then obviously your coaches' offices and then your stadium seats and building an area too for the fans. I mean, I think that's important. Megan talks about having the dot magic and that, Paul, that's going to mean win. When you have that atmosphere and the community get behind there and you're going to win more games. I mean, playing more home games with a great fan base, the energy brought to the ballpark, you got to build something too that's going to be more fan friendly too for the students and for the community.
Plus, it makes you actually feel like you're a part of the community. You're actually a part of the whole athletic department because you've been pretty much a nomad for forever. You're out on the island here, you're over there, you're nowhere near campus, and now you actually get to be a part of everything. All of a sudden, here's baseball right in the thick of it all, and actually it feels like you're a part of it, even though you're a part of the athletic department, you're a part of the whole fabric of this athletic department, but now here's the tangible part of it, and you can't miss. You can't overlook you. Right there you are.
Well, and I think the other thing, too, is really kind of with our fans and the community that you start seeing how really good baseball is at this level. And, when you're starting to add Southern Miss and Old Dominion already into a great baseball conference, I mean, if you look at the regionals the last few years, and they're made up of a lot of Sun Belt teams. And you look at Charleston Southern just hosted a regional. Southern Miss just hosted a regional. Coastal Carolina, not too long ago, just won a national championship. Louisiana was in a regional. Texas State was in a regional. I mean, you go on and on the amount of ranked teams and how good these programs are. Now you're bringing them right there in Huntington, and the amount of draft picks the teams have had, how many big leaguers these teams have had. Now you're bringing some of the best baseball in the country into Huntington, and what an awesome thing for the spring for people to come out and drink a beer and watch a game.
Jeff Waggoner joins me. Marshall approving the construction of a baseball stadium finally, and it feels real to me. And I've talked to Christian Spears. He wants to get it done. It feels real. He's been on the job. It was 102 days when they approved that. What was the feeling you were getting from him as this process was going? It felt like he made this his major priority to get this done quickly so he could get it going and correct something that it's taken too long. I mean, I don't want to disparage anyone, but it's taken too long to get this thing built.
Yeah, there's no question about that. But I think since the day he's been on campus, and we didn't meet too long after he got there, within a week or two. I mean, that's something he's been working on since he's got in. He knew that was a priority, and he also knew what the level of baseball was at this in this conference, and also I think the big thing with him was a student athlete. To be able to give them an opportunity to be on campus and be able to showcase, themselves and be a part of our campus and letting people come in and watch him play. I mean, he knows how important that was, and he's worked extremely hard of getting it done, and they just took a really big step on moving forward on this.
Jeff Waggoner joins me, head coach of the Marshall baseball team. So now you get to worry about what this thing's going to look like, what your facilities are going to be all about. I'm sure that's a welcome thing for you to be doing, baseball stadium facility planning as you try to plan your next season, going into the Sun Belt, and then trying to plan for the future. I'm sure it's a lot of work, but you're probably happy to have all this extra work right now because you're going into a really good league. You just outlined it. This is a really good league, and if you don't have the tools it takes to compete in this league, you're not going to be sitting pretty very long because it's tough.
Well, not along with that, Paul. You got the transfer portal now, and kids will leave your program. You got to keep them there. You got to re-recruit them. You have to get really good talent, and you got to keep them there. And without a stadium, you're not going to be able to do that. I mean, the days when we had Aaron Blair, that was a first rounder. Who knows what would have happened with an SEC school or somebody coming in with NIL money, and it's a different game now, and you have to be able to keep up in order to compete at this level with NIL help and with obviously facilities.
On the flip side, though, once you get this going, you have that opportunity as well to cherry pick. It's not unheard of. Someone maybe not happy at an SEC school sees Marshall, sees everything that you could possibly ask for in a baseball program, maybe decides to sign on with you. So it could go both ways, and it has gone both ways for a lot of programs. Yeah,
no doubt. Absolutely. The biggest thing is having a stadium to keep the guys that the core group that you sign to be there. I mean, let's face it, Paul, you don't just build a stadium and you're good. It's going to take some time to get the right classes in there. To build it right, you probably need 3 or 4 years of good recruiting classes to establish a foundation so that you can have more consistent winning. And you start getting more high school players, and yes, you can go and get some kids out of the portal if you lose some guys in the draft. It's just being able to maintain a consistent program is probably I'm more excited about. Right now my focus has to be on our current team. Christian Spears and our president, the board of governors, and the mayor. They're going to be building it, and I have to focus on how can I, the next year or two, to be able to compete in the Sun Belt. I mean, that's going to be extremely hard. But I like the players that we have in our program. we were a couple key pieces away this last year from being really good, and we had some injuries that prevented that. But we got, most of our guys back, and they're really talented, and, hopefully we can make an impact our first year in the Sun Belt.
How has the reception been going into the Sun Belt? I know Christian Spears, when he was with me, he joked that Marshall, I don't know, he probably wasn't joking. He said that Marshall was the darling of the Sun Belt. What's the vibe you're getting from the league, knowing that you're going to have to work a lot harder than, say, football, because it feels like, I'm not saying you're starting from scratch, but they've got beautiful stadiums. They've got a lot of tradition. You've got tradition, but you're still trying to compete with what might be better than Conference USA. What's your take on that?
There's no question about it. I think, obviously Southern Miss, who just got, not long ago, they went to Omaha, and they just hosted a regional this year and was a ranked team in the top 10. And Old Dominion, who was just as good as anybody. Those teams coming in, obviously, are going to get that more of that respect and tradition that they've had and into the Sun Belt. And there's been a lot of teams that did really good, and we're going to have to earn it. There's no question about it. But again, I think one of the things is Marshall going to get a baseball stadium so that our conference RPI can keep rising, and that we can have a better product and help the conference expand. And I think that was one of the big questions when we first went in, and hopefully that's starting to get answered, because that was the biggest negative of everything is, will they have a stadium, and will they be able to compete at this level?
Do you feel the move to the Sun Belt maybe accelerated this process and making sure that this was a top priority? Or do you feel confident, even if you were in Conference USA, that this was going to happen the way it's happened?
I would say that it was going to happen this way because of our student athletes. They deserve better. Our new administration sees that. Our new president sees that. The Board of Governors see that. So either way, if we didn't go in the Sun Belt, I believe this was going to happen either way, just because our coaches and our student athletes, Conference USA was really good in baseball too. So in order for us to compete, but I think more than just the competitive part, it's just, I don't know, the answer is fair. It's just fair for our student athletes who we bring in 35-man roster, that we only have 11.7 scholarships. So a lot of those guys are paying, the max amount to go to school there, that they deserve to have a facility for them to develop.
Jeff Waggoner joins me, Marshall's baseball coach. Happiest man on campus right now. So how do you attack the Sun Belt with the team you have and then building for the future? What's the game plan look like?
Well, if you look at our guys right now, we've had a really talented sophomore class pitching. Patrick Cropin, Zach Atkinson. Patrick's in the Cape Cod League right now, doing really well. Zach Atkins is back home working on his body. Chad Heiner. Those guys were a really good sophomore class that went through COVID, that, we were shut down on, 15 to 20 games, and they didn't really have a freshman year. And they really started, their pitchability's gotten better. Along with our senior class of arms, Ray Pacella, who might be as good as anybody in the league. We lost him last year injury that we're going to get back. That we feel can go out and beat anybody. Seniors like Carter Lyles and Ryan Capiano, those guys will be the core and foundation. Obviously, pitching wins. Cole Agne's another guy. Guys that are upperclassmen that have competed at a high level that we're going to lean on to help us, compete at this level. And then I feel like we have two of the better hitters coming back in the conference. Luke Edwards, who was first team all conference, and Ryan Leach. They both could get drafted in July, and we hope they do. But if they don't, that's obviously going to help to have a really good lineup. You throw in guys like Kyle Schaefer, who, had 13 home runs, and Christian Lucio, Daniel Carencia, Travis Stankovic. These guys are they're battle tested, and and I think they're ready to have a breakout year. Moving forward, obviously the stadium. I mean, if you look at, the recruiting of being able to go out there, I mean, still with so many things that happened on our 2 groundbreaking ceremonies before, people still don't believe it yet. And when you're out recruiting, that's the hard part. And honestly, until we actually start seeing movement out there, that'll be the toughest part, is getting the players to believe it until they actually saw some buildings going up. But that's when I'm in October with the game plan of starting to really move on the stadium. That'll be huge in recruiting, and able to build a great recruiting class in the next few years around the stadium.
So the pitch is, once everything starts happening on that site, now you can take recruits, you can show them the actual construction. That's the pitch.
Paul, I'll probably be out there with a bulldozer helping them, or at least the shovel, trying to help them get it done quicker.
Would you? Are you qualified? Can you run a backhoe? Can you run a bulldozer? I mean, can you run an earth mover? What are you qualified for?
I'll figure it out. I'm not licensed to drive one, but I'll give it my best shot. And I'll when they're done with their day shift, I'll go out there at night and just sneak out there and start bulldozing stuff and whatever I got to do to get it done quicker.
All right. Well, let's get you licensed just in case. We want to get this thing built, so let's just make sure you know how to handle it. You don't do anything you're not supposed to do. So let's do that for safety. Jeff Waggoner's with me, entering the construction phase of his career. And
I'm in if you're in. We'll start right now. Me and you can just start going out there and moving stuff. We'll get it going right now.
Look, if they let you and me out there with the bulldozers, I'll go out there with you. We'll do it. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. As long as they make sure that whatever I do, I'm not liable for. I'll go out there with you. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to actually take a wrong turn and go into the dot, and then next thing you know, I get a bill for fixing the dot, the fencing there. So, we got to be careful a little bit here. But it sounds like it's full steam ahead with you out there with shovels, showing off the dirt being dug with. I mean, there you go. That's the marketing campaign. You out there with the bulldozers in the background, pictures of you. We'll send that out on social media so everybody can believe it's real. And you can send those 8 by 11s. You can send glossies out to recruits. You with a shovel and all the construction going on. That'll make it real. Hard
hat on, construction clothes. I'm in. That'll be fun.
Jeff Waggoner.
I'll start whenever. I'm good to go right now.
Jeff Waggoner joins me. I got some gardening you can practice on. I need some help with. You want to practice my house? I got some things.
I got enough on my own. So.
Okay, fair enough. So I tried to pin down your boss the other day on this, Christian Spears, the athletic director of Marshall. I tried to pin him down on this. He said blueprints to be coming soon, so we don't have the full design yet. So I know you probably can't give up too much info, but what kind of field are we going to have? We're going to have synthetic, AstroTurf. We're going to have natural grass. What are we looking for here? What's the coach want?
The coach wants turf, and it will be turf. I think that's the new way for all the baseball fields. Even Southern Miss, who's down south, put the turf field in. Obviously, with rain, it's where we start games in February. And, obviously February, March, and April with the amount of rain, and you have to have it. I'm a big believer, and if you look around college baseball, the teams that win have a home field advantage. And, you can say atmosphere. Atmosphere plays a big part of it. But the second part is we're the only sport that you can really build a stadium anywhere you want. I mean, you don't have to cookie cut 330, 375, 400 in the outfield. You could have a short right field. You could have a short left field. Look at the Red Sox. Look around college baseball. If you go to Louisiana Tech, the ball flies out to right field. You go to Southern Miss, it flies out to left field. And you can just go down Rice. You go to Rice, it's the biggest ballpark in college baseball. All they do is get pitching and defense. So I think it's important to build a stadium how you want to recruit, or to build it where you can bring the players in. If you get a short right field, you bring in more left-handed bats. You learn how to pitch to one side of the plate or get guys out. I mean, that's how you win in college baseball, and that's how you recruit. And that gives you a huge advantage of what you want to go out and get. And your philosophy will be built around that.
So when does that get set in stone? Is that part of the design process? How much engagement are you having with the people that are going to ultimately lay this thing out, and what are those conversations? What have those been like so far? And trying to figure what a Marshall baseball stadium really is.
Well, that's when I met with Christian Spears in the spring, not too long ago after he was hired in, we had these conversations, and I think right now it's just the initial part of the fundraising and them working with a partner to get this going and started. And then I'll be back in there with them and being a big part of planning this. And that's where those ideas will come out. But right now we haven't got to that part yet. But we took a huge step in the direction of getting this done. And I'm sure we'll be having those meetings here soon.
So you also need to go fundraise a little bit to help this thing move forward. And how many people have said, hey, we got to get this baseball park built. We got to get this thing built. Are you going down the list of everyone who's called, emailed, written Christian, said, hey, we got to get this done, and asked for their donation? Are you making those phone calls yet, or you have an intern on that?
I don't. The Big Green is a big part of that. The Big Green is going to go out and do a lot of the major fundraising. But, yes, I'm getting asked on a daily basis, we got to get this done. How can we help? And my job right now is to focus on my current team, and recruiting is hard enough, and I'm spending a lot of my time on the road recruiting. So, but, yes, I will take any part that's needed for fundraising or ever I can help to get the stadium built. But Big Green is the biggest, ways of us getting this raised, and obviously Christian and our president and everybody else that's involved.
Jeff Waggoner,
and getting a really big help from the city of Huntington.
Jeff Waggoner's my guest, head coach of the Marshall baseball team. All right, I got to ask the big question. So how further along are we on the Jack Cook statue that we talked about, the little plaza area with that statue? How far along are we?
That's a big part of what we need to do, and that's something I'll definitely push. A statue or a drive, a road going into it, the Jack Cook Way. Something has to be named with Coach Cook, whether it's bricks for our alumni. I'm sure that we'll honor Coach Cook some way at that baseball field. And that'll be one of the biggest things that I push.
I like the statue. That way people can walk up to it in years from now, and if someone asks who's Coach Cook, the statue will explain it, and someone can explain it to someone who doesn't know, because
absolutely,
I think that's an important part of this. The stadiums are great when they have history, and Coach Cook, there's a lot of history there, and just to marry the two right off the bat, really, I think will give this stadium a lot more character, personality, meaning, just to have that history right there already, because it's built in, it's ready to go. You just need to honor him somehow and make sure that he's not forgotten. And I think you're off and you're on the right direction.
I agree. I mean, absolutely. A gateway to getting in the stadium with a statue or some kind of way of honoring him is much needed. For all the alumni that played for me, he was a mentor of mine. I mean, he was always there to help, and I'm second to him that wasn't the baseball stadium done, but he was always pushing to get done. I mean, really, we were supposed to be on it this spring until everything fell through, and Coach Cook would have been a part of that. And it's sad that he passed away before he could have saw it get done and completed. But he was the biggest supporter. He is Marshall baseball. It would be huge for alumni if we got that done, and I'm sure we will. But yes, it has to happen. Hopefully, the gateway or the walkway into the stadium, I think would be the best way to do it.
My guest is Marshall baseball coach Jeff Waggoner. Before I let you go, we got to talk about your new hire, Taylor Sandifer, as pitching coach was announced yesterday. What does Taylor bring to the program? What excites you about having him on staff?
Well, I talked to many people that I've known in this profession about him, and everybody had great things to say about him. And I knew his head coach for a long time, and then I spent 2 weeks talking to him and interviewing him. And I interviewed a lot of guys, but he really stood out. And I also had my players. I think I had 6 or 7 of my pitchers call him, and I wanted to hear what they had to say. But I think what really stood out with him is the ability to communicate with players, to bring passion every day, the energy. I mean, he's really good at motivating players. And if you look at his pitching staff that he's had in the past, they've always got better and better and better. And he knows a high level of baseball. He's a great pitcher himself. Actually, he was a two-way player. He was a hitter and a pitcher, and I think that's valuable too. But just the ability to know the new age biomechanics, analytics, and be able to add that with the strength conditioning that he knows to help pitchers and protect pitchers and help them get better, along with the ability to communicate, not only with our players, but with future herd players to recruit high-level guys. I mean, he sold me right away, and it's just been great to have him and his family join our program. And Taylor's recruiting now. He's in North Carolina. He has a house that he's trying to sell, and his wife's got a job there, and they'll be with us full time soon. But he's still on the road right now, helping us recruit until they can move up here permanently.
Can he drive a bulldozer? Have you got him certified yet? Do you know if he can maybe help you out there with that?
That was part of the job interview. I said, Taylor, you have to be able to drive a bulldozer in order to have a pitching coach job here. And he was all in.
Oh, I'm sure. So that's 3 of us. All 3 of us are going to go out there and try not to wreck the place, leveling and shoveling, and that's fun. See, that's what you need to do. You need to have one of those campus community days where we're all out there just moving dirt and digging and doing everything we need to do to get the site ready. Which it feels like
we could tear it up. We just can't build it. I'll be good at tearing it up.
And that's fine. I mean, you need me to knock a tree down or something? I can do that. That's easy. Yeah, just forward and go. I can do that. And they're probably going to have us sign waivers because I don't know how good we will be. Yeah, but look at it this way: we're going to save the project money because we're doing a lot of the work. So that'll help the budget, and we'll be able to get more stuff to the stadium and make it get done quicker. So we'll bring that proposal to President Smith and Christian Spears and see what they think about it. Okay, let me know because you'll get to their office quicker than I can. So let me know. I specifically want to hear what Athletic Director Christian Spears has to say about me driving the bulldozer.
I'll ask. I'm in.
All right.
We'll get it done.
We'll do this again soon. I'm excited for you. It needs to happen, and I can't wait. I'm excited because you know what? You deserve this, man. You've hung in there so long, and you've done so much for this program, and it feels like now you're getting everything you possibly could want for now and the future to make Marshall baseball really something special.
I love Marshall baseball. I want to see this program be successful, and I know we're up against the challenge of a great conference, but you build the field, you get the right core kids in there, and you teach the game the right way in the development part. I know that we'll do a great job of that, and we're gonna have great teams. We're gonna have a lot of fun. It'll be unbelievable the day that we can open up a game there and have a weekend series on a Friday, Saturday in the spring, and people come out to the game and enjoy watching baseball in Huntington. And I can't wait to do a radio show before or after a game with you. It's going to be really, really exciting, and I think it's going to be amazing for the community and everybody else that's involved.
Yeah, and that's the special thing. You can hopefully now you'll have a home. How about that? Herd baseball on the radio on a regular basis. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be awesome. Well, you can still do it this year when we're in the Sun Belt. We'll have to do that route too. We'll have to be creative. But, these seniors have put a lot of time and effort and energy into this program, and they're talented kids. And we can't forget about, this year. We can't get too far ahead of us. We got to focus on these guys this year and having a great season. And how about winning the Sun Belt Championship in our first year there without a stadium? Have fun with that.
That'd be great, but then they'll expect you to do that again. So let's win it, but let's tell them that you have to have that stadium still. So don't give them any incentive, okay?
We got it.
All right, win it and tell them, hey, look, I'll go and win it again only if you get that stadium done quicker.
There you go. We'll win more of them.
There you go, Coach. Good talking to you. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, Paul. Have a good summer.
That is Jeff Waggoner. He's going to be practicing bulldozing here real soon. I guess I'm going to be out there with him bulldozing as well. You think they'll let me do that? You think they'll let me go around and around the bulldozer, moving earth a little bit? What do you think they would let me do? Which vehicle could I get into and operate here? I mean, would I be digging dirt? Would I be just driving the bull? I mean, can the bulldozer be easy? Forward, back. I mean, what would be the easy vehicle? Hey, look, we need you to knock that tree down. Okay, no problem. I could do that. It's easy. Just go straight and back it up. I feel like there would be a job that I could do on that job site. Hard hat, bulldozing. And, I mean, what would I mess up? Really? It's not like I would be digging the hole. So what would I be messing up? I would just be moving earth a little bit. We need to talk about that. Christian Spears, athletic director of Marshall. Make that happen. Brad Smith, president of Marshall University. Make that happen. Me and Jeff Waggoner, moving dirt and bulldozers. All right, we got to take some time outs. We'll come back and we'll wrap this one up. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We're wrapping up today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I am your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back here tomorrow to do it all over again, so I'm looking forward to it. And don't forget, every day you can be a part of the program, so if today wasn't your day but you have something tomorrow, don't fret. You can hit me up on the text line. It is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And, of course, you can find me on Twitter at Paul Swann. It's a great place to find me. Anytime, like 3 a.m. Hey, I'm going to leave Paul a message at 3 a.m. I'll see it. Maybe not at 3 a.m., but if it comes to you at 3 a.m., you just at me and I will find it. And while you're there, don't forget, give me a follow if you would. I'd really appreciate that. Let's get you caught up on a few things. Of course, every day we're on social media, and we're trying to keep an eye on what Coach Huff is doing. He's a big Steph Curry fan. The herd gets bigger every time Steph hits your timeline, and the herd just got bigger. 2 Marshall football commitments announced on Twitter. C.J. Davis, he is class of 2023. He is a defensive back from Indiana, so he is committing to the herd. Tashawn Jeter, class of 2023, defensive back from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, announcing his verbal commitment to the herd. And, of course, there was another transfer commitment yesterday. Gabe Elrod, he is coming out of Troy. So 3 commits, 2 days, and I'm sure that, when we come back tomorrow, we'll have to add to the list because closing the gap, the herd's getting bigger, Steph Curry. That's just Coach Huff loves the Steph Curry. I'm happy for Coach because Golden State won the NBA. Because, again, if Golden State wouldn't have won that, would it have been time to retire the Steph? Wouldn't it have been time? Probably not. All right, Pirates baseball coming up tonight. They lost again last night. I don't know if you knew that. They lost again. I find out every day. For example, if they played late, I don't get the score until the morning if they play late. If they play normal time, I got an idea. But, yeah, if I don't know what happened, and usually I do, I can see when the boss walks by. Just his face is a little droopy. He's a little sad, right? Tough game, boss. And, of course, if I really want to make sure that I enhance my employment here, when the Pirates sometimes get blown out, I'll text him the score. Like, hey, what happened? Hey, this is tough. Well, what happened? Just giggling a little bit. He hasn't caught on yet. He's going to catch on soon. Either way, the Pirates are in action tonight. We got it for you. They're going to try to even up the series against the Nationals. That is set for 7:05 p.m. We've got it for you. 6:40 is our airtime here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Hey, they're playing some okay baseball. I mean, it's not bad. It's entertaining. They're not going to win the division, but they're going to be okay. It's all right. It's not bad. It could be worse. It could be the Reds. You could be the Reds, right? You could be a Reds fan right now. And hats off to you if you're still watching that and you're still sticking around with that. Hats off to you. I don't know how you're doing it, but I salute you if you're doing it. At least the Pirates make it interesting. They're fun. They might not win every game, but they're fun at least. And that's half of what you ask for. You want wins, but be fun about it. So we got it for you tonight here. I'm doing a great job selling this, aren't I? Yeah, I'm doing a great job. I mean, I'm enticing you to listen to Pirates baseball every single day. As if, I'm not going to lie to you. They lost. We got the games. We want them to win. It's just, I'm not going to lie to you. Oh, it's great. They lost again. That's okay. No, they lost. They lost a lot of games they should have won. Seriously, a lot of games they should have won. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention this. Winfield, the alma mater of Woody Woodrum. Woody should be happy. Chris Massey is joining the team to be the special teams and linebackers coach. I mean, you get an NFL long snapper to join your high school squad. What's that say? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So Winfield getting a little NFL experience there. Special teams should be really good at Winfield. I'm expecting big things out of Winfield here. So who's interested in fighting? I saw this today. Adrian Peterson and Levon Bell are going to be fighting in a celebrity boxing event. Are you going to pay for this? I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for that. I mean, it's bad enough Logan Paul's out there. I'm not paying. Hey, Levon Bell, if Logan Paul fought Levon Bell, I would pay for that. Maybe. I'd pay for that one. Probably not. No, probably not. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. Back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again right here on ESPN 94.1 AM 930. Don't forget, find me on Twitter at Paul Swann. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. And thanks for tuning in. We'll do it again real soon. Good night, everyone.
WRBC Huntington, W231BS Huntington, broadcasting from the Oscars Breakfast Burgers and Brew Studios. This is ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.